Victoria's recorded 13 new local COVID cases, including one in the regional town of Mildura. That was announced yesterday. The numbers bolster expectations that the current lockdown will be extended beyond tomorrow night. Reporter Zalika Ismail joins us now from Melbourne. Zali, g'day. So I guess at least the numbers are not going up.
Good morning, Joe. Yes, 13 new cases. As you mentioned, one was announced yesterday, that man in Mildura who's believed to have picked it up at the MCG at that AFL game, but at least it isn't going up. And it's also, we've seen great testing numbers, almost 55,000 on a Sunday, which is fantastic. We're also seeing people today, taking up the call to go and get tested. We're seeing huge lines at many testing sites. In fact, 2 are already over capacity and not accepting any more people. That's MSAC in Albert Park and also Montague Street in South Melbourne. No doubt that's relating to a number of exposure sites which have been identified in that area, including South Melbourne Market. So really the best thing people can do is to check those real-time updates on the wait times and go to one of the places that have lesser queues.
And Zali, talk us through the exposure site concerns in Victoria at the moment.
Well, we've seen exposure sites balloon out again to more than 270 now. Victorians being urged to keep checking them. They are being updated constantly, but sporting events are still the biggest concern for authorities. We've seen overnight officials expand these exposure sites at both Amy Park and the MCG. Now, they relate to that rugby test match on Tuesday between the Wallabies and France, and also that AFL game between Geelong and Carlton the weekend prior. So that expansion means that there'll be more people now considered to be primary close contacts who will have to spend that 14 days in quarantine. There's also some people who were at that MCG match who are now being asked to get retested as well. Another concern is the Crafty Squire pub here in Melbourne CBD on Russell Street behind me. And now this venue held a Euro finals event in the early hours of last Monday morning. We now know that a positive case attended that event, along with about 400 people. So yesterday, the Chief Health Officer, Brett Sutton, saying he was very concerned that this could become a site of where transmission happens. There's no cases at this stage that have been linked here, but of course the concern is that people have been here for a prolonged period of time, for many hours, eating and drinking, therefore likely not having their masks on, also shouting, etc. So the other concern about this site is that authorities believe people would have bought tickets not only for themselves but also for their friends. So while they are combing through CCTV, contacting ticket holders, also looking at those QR codes, they're also asking anyone who might have bought tickets for their friends to really act as a push telegraph, get the message out to get tested and get in contact with the health department. But of course, the big question is what all of this means for the lockdown extension. Yesterday, the Premier said it was too early to announce anything then. We are hoping that today they'll have more to say about this, but of course, they're always trying to strike this balance between giving people some warning but also getting the clearest picture of exactly what's happening.
The basics of the Mildura case, it was a guy who went to the rugby game, was it?
No, they believe that this is someone who went to MCG, that Carlton Geelong game. That's right, the MCG on the Saturday, who's tested positive since. We believe that he was tested early on and tested negative. He's then presented at the local hospital there and later tested positive. So that sent several of the hospital staff there in isolation, and a number of exposure sites have also been identified in Mildura. So really important that people in that area have a look and see if they've been to any of those exposure sites and get tested if necessary.
And I'm sure you've been asked this question a million times today because there's a lot of interest in it, but you probably don't know the answer.
I already know what it is.
Is it a yes or a no?
We don't know.
Okay, thanks.
We don't know. The lockdown extension presser, we don't know.
Okay, Zalika Ismail reporting there from Melbourne. So yeah, a lot of anticipation about when that media conference will be held today with the Victorian Premier expected to announce whether the lockdown will be extended beyond that 5 days, but extended beyond tomorrow night. We'll let you know as soon as that timing comes through, and we'll bring you that live in some form on the ABC through the day here, as well as that New South Wales update, which we're expecting as usual at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.